Leon Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday Tone Tip. On today's video, we're going to talk about the flanger block, and I want to offer up 5 fun tricks you can use with the flanger. Before we get started, I have my Hamer Standard plugged straight into the Axe FX3. I've got the Cameron CCV2A amp model at stock settings, my usual go-to greenback IR, which is available for free from Exchange, as always. And for something a little bit different, we're going to use the large tiled room reverb at stock settings. This is the dirty sound. Absolutely awesome, very much a kind of brown style sound. The CCV is a modified Marshall style amp after all, and pairs really nicely with greenbacks. All right, the first little trick that I want to talk about, we're going to place a flanger block before the amp block here. I'm going to use this ADA flanger model, and at stock settings, this sounds pretty cool, but an original ADA flanger had a polarity switch for the feedback, so it could give you positive feedback or negative feedback. Each of those is going to sound a little bit different, and we can emulate that on the Axe with any flanger type by either increasing or decreasing the feedback beyond 0. So I'll start at the stock settings, then I'll turn the feedback up, and then I'll turn it down so you can hear the difference. As you just heard, positive and negative values have a very different character between them, especially when you push them to the extremes. My personal kind of preference there is with the feedback positive and between about 30 and 50% with something like this ADA flanger. But as always, you can dial it into taste. It is a very powerful control. The next trick, we're going to use the MXR flanger model in here. And what I've done is I have right-clicked the bypass button here and assigned this to control switch number 4. On my FC12, I've set up control switch number 4 to be a momentary control switch. So it's only going to activate this block when I press down on the control switch. However, I'm going to play Unchained, of course. If we just have the block as it's set, in between each kind of flanger on and off, the sweep of the flanger is going to be in a different place. I'll let you hear what I mean. If we want the sweep to start in a very particular place, like you would with something like Unchained, we can use this bypass reset control. So we can set it to 0, 90, 180, or 270 degrees. For the Van Halen style thing, 270 sounds really good. So what this means is it is going to start the LFO sweep at 3/4 of the way through the sweep every single time you turn it on, so you get a much more consistent result. That bypass reset control in there is so handy for that, a very powerful control. Next, we're going to revisit my childhood because my very first effects unit was one of those budget Zoom 707 processors, which overall probably wasn't the greatest sounding thing, but it did have a stepped flanger in it that I loved the sound of. So we've got a stepped flanger as an effect type, and we can quantize the LFO into as many steps as we like right here. So I've set this to be synced to the tempo, so just a 1 beat. As you can see, this is going to change the rate based on this tap control up here. But I'll just give you a very quick example of what can happen when you change this quantize control in here. This is such a fun effect. Next up, we're going to do some flanging after the amp and cab block. I'm going to start with this 80s rack flanger effect type at the stock settings, which I think sounds fantastic. One cool trick to do with any flanger when you're running in stereo or anything like the chorus or the delay block is to play around with the phase reverse. I'm going to set it off to start, then I'll put it to phase reverse to the left channel, and you get this massive stereo style effect. Let's hear it. One last one before we go. We're going to create a manual through zero flanger on here. There is a manual through zero flanger effect type, but I want to show you how you can do this for any flanger effect type. There's a little bit of setup involved. Basically, we want this manual control to be assigned to an expression pedal. So I'm going to come in here and assign it to my FC pedal number 1. Now, I want this manual control to be the only thing that's controlling the flanger. So I need to turn the depth down to 0. I'm going to turn the minimum and maximum times down as low as they go. I'll turn auto depth off. I'm going to set phase reverse to both so that when I'm at the bottom of this manual sweep, everything's cancelled out. I'm going to turn the rate up just to taste, and then we can come into the more section and turn manual through zero flanging on. I'm also going to turn the dry delay down to 0 again so that when I'm at the bottom of the sweep, I get cancellation. So now I can move my expression pedal, and this manual control is manually controlling the flanger as you would expect. This is what it sounds like. You could call that a 2-0 flanger in there, because when we're at the bottom of the manual sweep, everything totally cancels out. That would sound amazing in a live rig if you've got a spare expression pedal, and could could really turn some heads. So there are 5 fun things to do with the flanger block in the Axe FX3, FM9 and FM3. Let me know what your favorite way to use the flanger is in the comments section below. And if you have suggestions for future Tuesday tone tips you would like me to look at, let me know in the comments section. Again, my IR is available for free from Exchange if you want to grab it. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.